Alright, guys, so it has begun. Judgment Day is here. The US economy is just all coming loose, and up ahead is an iceberg. And you know how the 50 basis points. And this is a bombshell because Powell just admitted the truth to everyone that the iceberg is coming. He hopes to avert the crash by cutting rates by half a percentage point. But history tells us that it might be too late. The damage from higher interest rates over the past 2 years has already been done. Every time the yield curve disinverts, a recession follows soon after. And this is when the 10-year yield is higher than the 2-year, which is already happening. The 2-year is at 3.65%, while the long end of the curve, the 10-year, is well above 3.7%. So let's confront the elephant in the room. How long does it take for a recession to come? Because the economy can keep humming along for many more months to come. This also means a market crash probably won't be immediate as well. Asset prices can continue flying up because of Wall Street greed. And what does the data tell us? When the yield curve disinverts, it can take quite a while before the economy enters a recession. From 84 days back in 2001 to as long as 280 days in the '08 mortgage crisis. And the upside for the stock market from disinversion, where we are now, to a recession is quite limited, anywhere from a crash of 14% to a gain of 8.2%. So it kind of pays to be quite careful during this period. We must cut through the BS from the Federal Reserve. Powell is still trying to talk the economy off a cliff. It's really hilarious if you think about it. He just cut rates by 50 basis points. But the narrative is still about a soft landing. If Powell believed his own tale, he would be eating his own cooking. He would cut by only 25 points, but he went for an emergency cut because that's essentially what just happened. 50 basis points.
What message are you trying to send American consumers, the American people, with this unusually large rate cut?
I would just say that, the U.S. economy is in a good place, and our decision today is designed to keep it there. More specifically, the economy is growing at a solid pace. Inflation is coming down closer to our 2% objective over time. And the labor market is still in solid shape. So our intention is really to maintain the strength that we currently see in the U.S. economy.
Okay, hello everyone. Hope you can hear me. Hello, Abby.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
hey, there you are. What's up?
Hi, everybody. Good to see you again.
Thanks for joining us.
I barely got here on time, so thank you, Michael.
Yeah, that's all good. Not maybe wanting to do a super long show today. I gotta start to get better control of my drinking here. I'm starting to feel like I'm killing myself. Spent all day hungover, right? So much as I was able to get the stream set up and everything, I'm not able to dedicate as much professionalism and energy as I should be. So I need to take care of myself. I was supposed to go to the doctor today, and I don't even know why the hell I drank so much last night. It's just whatever, crazy shit or whatever. The world's gone to shit, and I really don't feel like I have much of an ability to participate in much of anything. So, but let's not get too distracted on that. We're going to be having Golden Monarch join us today.
I'm trying to figure out how to send him a link.
Well, I've sent him a link. I got him to join our little Discord.
Perfect.
So
perfect. Well, I'm good.
Looks like he's in the background here. We can bring him on to say hello.
Is he?
Hello, Golden Monarch. Hear me? Are you there?
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Hi, Golden. It's nice to hear your voice.
Thank you. And special thanks to Abby and Miguel for having me on. I thought I was going to originally be like half an hour late, but things worked out. That's what it's like when you're in a marriage life. But anyhow, it's good to be here. Hearing what Miguel said, I'll try not to take up too much of everybody's time. however long you guys need. Let's get going. So I noticed your title: Crazy Crypto Schemes and the Schismogenesis of the World. Yep, facts.
Well, I kind of
And
thought it was something, right? So glad you like it. Sorry.
yeah, so where do I start? I guess a little bit about myself. So real quick, I started getting into independent media several years back, just a couple years before the 2020 election. And I remember back then I was somewhat of a surrogate Tulsi Gabbard supporter. This is well before, I learned more about Tulsi, what she stands for, which nowadays is all about, Zionism, military, Israel, and Lordy behold, Bitcoin. And as as we all know, reality hits hard. Tulsi dropped out, and then for any of former Bernie supporters, Bernie dropped out. We're left with Biden. Woo! Except Biden does exactly what Trump does, if not more worse. We're in 2024. We've gone through a hell of a lot of things. Let's see, pandemic, a volatile crypto market, and a volatile Wall Street market. I thought that we were all in peace. I thought everyone was going to get along after the pandemic, but nope. Here we are. The United States is still conducting warfare. They're still, printing out money. They're still supporting these Ponzi schemes that, frankly, I feel like they've always been here since the beginning. I'll tell you, as far back as say in the 90s or beforehand. With computer technology, perhaps DARPA, quote unquote electronic cash, cyberpunks, those kind of things. So over the years, yeah, I've been listening in the background through independent media like Jimmy Dore Show, Harlan's Media, RBN, and I've certainly had my own poison. I listen to one channel and then they stir off course. I'm like, okay, I'm done with you. I go to another independent source, and I'm like, oh, okay, no, you guys are pretty much you're just you're caving in. You're part of the establishment. You're part of the two-party system.
Yeah.
And so nowadays, I'm mostly on smaller channels. Shout out to Indy, Reef, Colin from Independent News Network, our Independent News Network. Shout out to you guys, of course. Shout out to Bad Cookies, Mastermind. Smaller channels. Because our voices are just as needed, if anything, much more so now that we have a duopoly system that has completely abandoned the the American people. They've sectionized so many countries that wanted nothing to do with the United States or U.S. imperialism, and they most certainly wanted nothing to do with cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, CBDCs, all those sorts of matter.
But do you still listen to the other broadcasts? Just to make sure you're hearing what is being said outside of your own beliefs.
Of course, yeah. Okay, so
you were like, I say, I'm done with you.
Well, I can relate to that for sure. Right? Go ahead, Monarch.
Thank you. So yeah, Abby, I still relatively listen to RBN, Harlan's. I've participated in the live stream chats. I used to follow channels like Jimmy Dore, Do Dissidents, and even Sabby Sabs. I am currently no longer subscribed to either Jimmy or DD. I am still sub to Savvy, but I'm not very active in the live stream anymore. I mean, by all means, props to all those channels for being humongous, and they can reach a far wider base. But eventually, there comes a point where you get too big, and I kind of feel like maybe a collection of all three may have lost a little bit of their base audience, especially with Jimmy's.
It's a lot like musicians, how they come out with the first few albums that are really awesome, and then as they get a taste of that fame and recognition, they tend to become a little bit less impressive as time goes on.
Exactly. And they become much more
like Incubus.
political. Money influences them. Some of them date chunky football players, aka Taylor Swift. And yeah, I don't know what she was thinking about playing into politics again. I think she'd be better off if she didn't speak on anything about politics. Keep that to herself, you know?
Yeah. I appreciate hearing how many people around the world also have a bit of a not just distaste, but a despising of Taylor Swift, and her music.
Yeah, and I've joked about, hey, in before Taylor Swift sponsors Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. I mean, I just feel like, all these like celebrity figures, all these like politicians, all these like gatekeepers, be it shit libs or alt right libertarians, even like the crypto community, crypto bar, crypto gals. I feel like for the majority part, they're okay with the system as it is. I mean, they may think, for example, yeah, someone like Taylor Swift, they may think someone like Taylor Swift is, genuine, her music rocks, or that Bitcoin is supposedly economic liberty, freedom, yada, yada, yada. But
I mean, they praise her for being a billionaire. Like, that's a good thing.
I didn't know she was a billionaire. I mean, I knew she was
Yeah,
filthy
she's a
rich, but I didn't
billionaire.
think she was a billionaire. Whoa.
Yeah, she's up there.
Well, it makes me wonder. I don't see her as someone who can really manage money like that. Maybe I've got her all wrong, but she must have quite like a lot of people that are helping her with like manage her money, basically. A bit of a Britney Spears thing going on there, maybe.
I've heard about the whole Britney Spears, and my goodness, I feel so bad for Spears. Hashtag leave Britney alone. Yeah, her father's is a disgusting individual, and then it's so sad that her younger sister is also in with the family as far as like keeping Britney, separated from her children. They're, I think, what is it, co-sign or something? Britney like can't really make her own decisions, as far as I'm aware.
She can now.
Well, she can now, yeah, thankfully. But yeah, there was a time when, yeah, people weren't talking about the harsh reality of Britney Spears. They were just sort of keeping it under wraps.
Well, she's a rare example of a celebrity, like capitalist turned socialist there. I'm not sure if she's gone full blown communist there, but I have seen her make public statements that are supportive of socialism. You know.
I mean, it is possible for even celebrity figures like Britney Spears to change over time. I mean, we are all capable
So
of
experience.
changing.
Yeah.
We are all capable of changing. It's just a matter of, you know, do we not let, like, for example, money and greed influence us? Do we not become tempted by, money, fame, and the new hype out there, the new trends? And I feel like as far as back as like what the 2008 financial crisis, people lost their homes, people were in desperate mode. I think frankly that was like the start of the downfall of like failed comedian Graham Elwood, because look, it is sad he lost his home and everything, and he did have to find some other means of like, all right, how does he get himself back up? He joined RT. He seemed to be like a radio contributor. He seemed to be like a decent, funny comedian, and
He was a regular contributor to Jimmy Dore show. I think they fell
yes.
out. I think they fell out over COVID though.
Yeah, that's the thing. So that whole topic, which I'm not sure I'm not sure if YouTube, how strict YouTube is about that topic matter. But yeah, the two of them had a falling out. But it's kind of funny because following that, Graham Elwood, I think, well, according to Indy, Graham Elwood through Ron Clone, another guy who used to support Jimmy Dore, they started getting to the orange pill, as they call it, of Bitcoin, and then slowly, little by little by little, Graham Elwood was just talking just nonstop Bitcoin. It seemed like over time his channel was not only was his channel being maybe suppressed by YouTube algorithms, but I think he saw a huge significant loss of subscribers, of followers. And yeah, there was a time when I used to be subscribed to Graham Elwood. I thought he was decent. I thought if I needed to hear from a different perspective, but
It was like Gotham something.
which one?
His channel is like Gotham.
Oh yeah, Gotham. The political vigilante.
The political vigilance. Thank you.
Yeah, he still has a show with Lee Camp. Every once in a while, I'll
the
watch
government
it.
secrets, right?
I wouldn't be able to continue working with him. I don't know how Lee does it there.
I don't know either. I have no comment on that other than that I started noticing over the past couple of years, Graham Scamwood, if you will. Scamwood was just talking nonstop about Bitcoin, and then that time he went to El Salvador to meet with that God, I hate that guy. Max Kaiser and his wife Stacey Herbert, Orange Pill Podcast. I think Graham Elwood completely got swallowed up by the orange whale or something, because sometimes when he is not talking like independent media stuff and he's talking only Bitcoin, I noticed the narrative he's speaking of, he seems to be actually praising individuals like Michael Saylor out of all fucking people. Pardon the language, by the way, but
No problem
Michael
here.
Saylor, who I refer to as Elon Musk 2.0, he's a former CEO of MicroStrategy. They have hordes and hordes of Bitcoin, much like BlackRock. I remember there was a time when Graham Elwood interviewed a former, I think it was a Congress runner-up, I think Jen Perlman or somebody, and I don't know. I just felt like that conversation between the two was just disgusting. I mean, is Graham really serious about supporting the candidate who used to be part of the duopoly? Is he like, is he really about getting rid of the two-party system, or he's just an opportunist like most people have become as of late?
That's what I was gonna like. Is he still claiming to be a leftist of any sort? Because if he's walking around supporting Zionist Bitcoin and promote people like Michael Saylor and Max Kaiser, you're basically just walking around celebrating capitalists. So if you really, it's important for people on the left. Like we want to build unity. We don't want to be having constant infighting. But when somebody takes a different stance like that, that's in contradiction with the rest of us, it's kind of okay to begin with, while we're still trying to determine who has the better perspective on an issue. But as time goes on and as the contradictions are revealed in your position, you need to publicly acknowledge where you've gone wrong, where other people have gone right, or else it becomes untenable to continue kind of ideologically associating with someone like that, because they're not being dialectical, you could say.
100%, yes. And then the other thing I've noticed as of late, one more time with Graham Elwood, on his video descriptions, if you actually dig deep into the video descriptions on each video, he has links to not only his Bitcoin and Ethereum wallet addresses, but he has direct links to Coinbase and Crypto.com, two particular crypto exchanges, and there are more of them. But these two particular crypto exchanges, they're part of the World Economic Forums. So, is Graham Elwood really going to be? Is he really that stupid to not do his own research?
Seems like maybe
the type of individuals or institutions he may be unintentionally finding himself to be part of.
Because if he's not unintentional, then it means that he has done his research and that he is intentionally choosing to continue with that, path forward, that blood money, and apparently doesn't have an issue with it. So, yeah.
Yeah. You made a good point about
I'm kind of very glad to be vindicated. I always think against Bitcoin from it first came out. I was like, I don't trust this. So now that I've seen what it's turned out to be, I'm very glad I had nothing to do with it. So.
Yeah, I mean, props to you that Miko, that when you first heard about it, you dismiss it right off the bat. Unfortunately, there are not many people who can do that at first glance. Like for example, like a few years ago, when I first mentioned cryptocurrency. Oh, you might hear my dog in the background. Apologies. When I first mentioned to my wife about cryptocurrency, this is like around like 2020 or 2021. She too was on the fence about it entirely. She didn't know what cryptocurrency was. She didn't know what Bitcoin was, but you could tell from the language and from the mannerism that it's pretty, very libertarian, Ponzi. She just didn't understand how all of it worked. And unfortunately for me, it took me, I used to invest in cryptocurrency myself, including Bitcoin. Just want to answer Jacqueline's question. I used to also be in that like boat, if you will. I learned the hard way.
Actually, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. I wanted to answer the question also. So I actually still have some Bitcoin because I bought some in the beginning, and I just never did anything. It's just sitting there. It's not like it's a lot or anything. And I did buy like.
I mean, we could talk more about whoever still has Bitcoin or whoever still has Bitcoin donations, because I do have something to say about that, Abby. But
go right ahead.
So okay. So as I was saying about Graham Scamwood, so he's openly accepting Bitcoin and Ethereum donations, whatever. Well, so too are other YouTubers like Caitlin. Well, YouTubers and journalists. Caitlin Johnstone, that comes to mind. She takes Bitcoin donations.
Whitney Webb.
Richard Medhurst accepts Bitcoin donations, and I want to assume to this day, so does Whitney Webb.
I don't know too much as far as making a concrete claim there, but I agree. I suspect that, from what I remember, that she's been friendly towards this Bitcoin stuff.
Yeah. So. I mean, with Whitney Webb, I think she used to be very friendly to Bitcoin stuff. But now that, I think I noticed ever since 2023, when she made her appearance in one of those Bitcoin conferences and with her viral warnings, I think she's changed her stances over time. But I don't think she's quite connected the dots as I have, as far as time, Zionism, and the whole Bitcoin. The whole capitalism, the whole what does cryptocurrency really benefit? Who does it really benefit?
Right.
Sure, the earliest investors like Abby, for example, but mainly people who have more money than you. Financial institutions, billionaires, BlackRock, as I mentioned earlier, MicroStrategy, Elon Musk, ARK Invest, Coinbase.
Well, it's because they call it a currency, but people have argued that it doesn't exactly fit the definition, like the three necessary qualifications for it to actually function as a currency. Like, you can't use it as a means of exchange or a store of value like that. So it can't really be used by anyone unless you have plenty of capital to be able to convert it into. It's like it doesn't really function like gold and other assets like that. So basically, its intention, it seems to be intentionally designed to be used for criminal activity and stuff. I was finding an article, maybe if we got time we can get into it, about the link between terrorist activity and the crypto markets, considering what just happened in Lebanon there. And
not just Lebanon, but I think if we want to go further back, last year, October 7th, when corporate media and pro-crypto establishment media were claiming that Hamas were using digital currencies. I mean, that's a flat-out lie. First off, the IDF founded Hamas. The IDF, aka Israel, backed by the U.S. and their own, corporate institutions. They're the ones using cryptocurrency. They're the ones using Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah.
So
holder of Bitcoin.
Go to Monarch. Just so you know, I pulled up your Substack. So if there's any articles you want to share, just tell me the title and I'll pull it up for you.
Yeah, sure thing. Well,
Jacqueline has a question for you. not to
Okay.
derail the conversation, but she says, is it true that cryptocurrency is only as good as the faith that people have in it? So the more people have faith in it, legitimacy, the better. I mean,
Yes. Yes. As far as like cultish mentality, because Bitcoin is essentially a cult. The
correct, Rhonda.
the elites, the billionaires, people like Michael Saylor, Max Kaiser, they their mannerism, their propaganda, they're treating it as if it's a cult. You know, they are spouting, "Oh, everything goes to zero against Bitcoin. Never sell your Bitcoin." Yada yada. I mean, these guys they're Zionists. Okay. Yeah, we can look at that article first. That was my latest article I posted. I think deep down they're Zionists. They're part of the problem of what's wrong with the United States and stuff. They don't care about Americans. They don't care about the world. I mean, MicroStrategy has an office located in Tel Aviv, Israel. Max Kaiser, from what I've gathered, he appears to be like an agent of the establishment here in Wall Street, who just decided to partner with the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele. If you want, Abby, we can go look at the latest article I posted, which is the one about Max Kaiser.
Sure. Do you want
So,
us to read it, or you could just cover it a bit?
Okay, yeah, I'll cover for a bit. So I posted this yesterday, and yeah, I did some digging background on who
can you make
Kaiser
it bigger,
is.
Michael?
Yeah. So, go ahead, Monarch.
Yeah, so I did some like digging into who Kaiser is, and he has a background in Wall Street. He finance. He was one of the co-founders of the Hollywood Stock Exchange, which is like the stock market but for entertainment. He used to contribute to RT.
That's where
And
I came across him. I didn't know about him until I started watching RT. Sorry to interrupt.
no worries. He used to contribute to RT for years, up until the start of the Ukraine-Russia conflict. So he and his wife, co-host and wife now, Stacey Herbert, yeah, they left RT, and then not long after they went to El Salvador, and they're part of WikiLeaks, like, I guess, government, unofficially speaking. And yeah, they're all about Bitcoin, WikiLeaks.
Yeah, I've heard
And
some people
apparently,
praise. So go ahead, Abby.
I was just going to say, apparently he's a self-absorbing, narcissist, deranged, psyop, salesman, and dumbass.
Yeah, all the above.
I'm reading that from because they can't see that on the screen. I'm reading that from his article.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at the article myself too. So yeah, basically, if you ever hear him out speak, whether he's talking about Bitcoin or anything for that matter, he's so full of it. Like, honestly, why would people? First off, why would people trust this guy? And two, why would anyone take his word about, particularly for Max Kaiser, why would anyone take his word about Bitcoin? Why would I want to buy Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies so that I can make Max Kaiser more money? Because however amount of Bitcoin he has, his value of Bitcoin goes up. No, I don't want to be part of this cult. I don't want to be part of his grift. And that's
So,
that's
I have
like
a
what we're seeing throughout the United States now with BlackRock and all these
I have a
banks.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because the way it was advertised. Okay, well, first, you know how sometimes for example, JD Vance, he started from meager, that poor. I was just a poor kid story, and I
Mm-hmm.
worked my way up to the top. They do it all the time, right? They kind of advertise Bitcoin kind of like it had meager beginnings by just some nerds that wanted to make things better for us and give us an alternative to the financial system that we have now. You know what I mean? And so all of that was a big lie just to make us feel more comfortable with uh, buying into Bitcoin. Is that what? Am I
Yes.
going in the right direction there?
No, that's exactly right. Right, Abby. I
It's like
mean,
it's just like that that metaphor. Sorry, um, how the barn's on fire, and then they say, "Oh, I got the way out," and they lead you to the slaughterhouse.
Mm.
yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's a bait. It's a trap. You know. Oh, something else in this article, and probably this will be the most profounding thing out of everything I wrote here. It's all the way in the bottom, actually. I think. Yeah, it's on the heading where it says Kaiser's moronic tweets insulting Palestine. So I'm going to explain what that was all about.
There we go.
Okay. So back in 2013, when Kaiser was still working for RT, he wrote an article piece where he basically was advocating for Palestine to buy Bitcoin because Israel is still suppressing Palestine, and maybe someday Palestine could buy Israel. And
Wait,
so,
what?
yeah, I know, yeah.
Mean exactly by that?
Yeah, so if we go to a second tweet, if you could scroll down a little more below on his second tweet.
I can share it if you want. Oh, it's already in the chat? I mean, it's already
Yeah.
in the article?
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
Thank you.
there's a user by Sulaiman Ahmed. Now, this was back in August, back in August, when the crypto exchange Binance seized Palestinians' cryptos under order of the IDF. And get a look at what Max Kaiser says. I wish Palestine had taken my advice in 2013. They could have bought Israel by now. Bitcoin has no riba. When I pitched this to some mullahs, they scoffed. Quote, should Palestine switch from the shekel to Bitcoin and their cartel bank add BTC to reserves? So that was his article back in the day.
Now he's taking that a little too far.
Yeah.
So what does he mean by
Who's supposed to believe that?
What does this Reba word mean?
I honestly don't know what that means. I can look it up real quick.
Yeah.
Because I mean, not only is it insulting, but I think he's coming out as a flat out Zionist. A Bitcoin Zionist.
So it says Reba is an Arabic word that means to increase or to exceed and is commonly used in reference to unequal exchanges or charges and fees for borrowing. Interest is deemed riba or an unjust exploitative gain, and such practice is forbidden under Islamic law. At its core, riba refers to exploitative gains in wealth and money.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And apparently it's roughly translated as usury. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Usury?
Oh, you mean you? Oh wait,
Usury.
I'm thinking about usury, but
Yeah.
yes, usury.
Yeah, it's Arabic. Yeah.
So that's like the opposite of what. It's forbidden under law. So that's kind of like the Talmud, but it only applies to them.
This is one of the things that people don't really talk about, as far as like they want to treat all the Abrahamic religions as all the same and all bad, but there is financially there's distinctions as far as what is prohibited and what is acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's actually RIBA, Rondo, riba. Oh, riba is usury, which is a sin. Okay. So I got it backwards. All right. Thank you, Rondo, for that correction.
Well, the
I
thing
was
about
misdefining usury.
to define it as a sin is to define it in religious terms, and as someone who's not wanting to be a religious person, I find it difficult how to define these kinds of things, because to me it should be considered a crime, but
Well,
it's considered a sin instead.
you could say it is forbidden under Islamic law, so it's also a crime.
Yeah.
But you know, if you are Muslim, that's the language that you use. So there's a question on the floor. Um, before I ask the question, I'm just gonna make this comment from Rondo, if you don't mind. So Rondo says, I never really put a whole lot of weight on Max Kaiser's opinions, even when he was on RT. He's from Wall Street, so why would you trust him? True, he's like he's down the rabbit hole of Wall Street. Um, one more, and then I'll ask the question. Mastermind says, I don't know what that is. Is that CLF? Subjects of theft. ELF, the subjects of theft, maybe? And lying aren't condemned by your religious text, but instead treated like a how-to manual. You might want to scrutinize who exactly you have been chosen by. No, he's talking about the Talmud a little bit. Okay, so here's the question that's posed. Go to Monarch. Jacqueline asked, when the Bitcoin bubble inevitably burst, how big will the fallout be?
Yeah, so I did answer that in the chat.
Oh,
But
you did?
basically, in my opinion, I think it'll be much, much bigger than what we've seen with the FTX scandal.
So, can you explain? So everybody knows the dot-com bubble, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows the dot-com bubble, but the FTX scandal, I'm not sure if everyone is as familiar with that.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
So, back around like 2021, 2022, two crypto exchanges, both Binance and FTX, they're projected as the next, well, their CEOs, I mean, they're projected as the next multi-millionaire, billionaire, whatnot. Frankly, Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, he was being projected as the moneymaker, celebrities, corporate media. They were like praising him. They were pouring investments into his company, FTX. And at first glance, it seemed like everything was running smoothly, smooth sail. But over time, some of Sam Bankman-Fried's financials didn't make a whole lot of sense. It turned out that a lot of the money that they had, they didn't have the money there to begin with. So when ZC of Binance, he used to be the former CEO of Binance. When he and Sam were trying to, I guess, make a deal or something, or try to merge or something. The CEO of Binance, he backed off, and that saw a ripple effect throughout majority of the crypto industry. A lot of different crypto exchanges, such as Voyager, Celsius, I think Arrow 3, I think, they filed for Chapter 11, which is like, bankruptcy. I believe. Let's see. Sam Bankman-Fried was prosecuted. He's in jail.
Yep, he's in prison.
To some degree, so was ZC. He never faced jail time. Not as long as say Sam has, but he did have to pay a hefty amount of money.
Black Life is happy to see a celeb in the house today. That would be you. He's like, what?
Definitely more crypto experts, because it's one of those things that it's kind of ubiquitous already. Everyone's using it, but nobody really understands it. So,
I mean, I think the one thing to just understand from it is that it's not your money to begin with. I mean, it could be your money if you dedicate hours and time and mental energy following these 24/7 charts and trying to make predictions based on what billionaires, the federal government, like Jerome Powell from the Federal Reserve, or Gary Gensler from the SEC say. But it's just one whole clusterfuck that
so the
eventually you're going to get burned out by it, because as an individual user, you don't have insider trading as all these institutions and billionaires do. You don't have the money to keep up and invest.
Well, there's no
This is,
regulation. Go ahead, Abby.
oh, I'm sorry, we jumped at the same time.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
I'm glad you said that, Golden Monarch, because it brings to mind the twins who hired Mark Zuckerberg to build Facebook, and he kind of stole it from underneath them. And they sued him, and they got some money. I think they got a couple of a couple of dozen millions, but the biggest thing that they got was about 45 million in Facebook stock or something like that. My numbers might be off. And they accepted it because they really did believe in the product in the end, even though it wasn't their product anymore. And their assumption paid off, so they became rich off of that. Then they jumped on Bitcoin, and I think they bought like 1% of every different type of coin, but they bought way more Bitcoin or something like that. And that's how they essentially got uber rich, and they were able to start a new company off of that money. So I guess they're like using the money as debt to leverage to make more money. You know how they never use their own money. So right now it's a good thing for them, and I guess it's good that they were able to use that as debt to start their own company before the walls come crumbling down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that sounds about right. I mean everything, all that. I mean the whole crypto industry, Wall Street, they're all interconnected. The individuals involved, the the donors, politicians, even.
One
Let's
big
see here. So,
lane in it.
do we have time for another article read, or do you guys have to get going
Of
soon?
course.
Okay.
You want to from your Substack?
We could look at one more. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There we go. Do you want to pick the Santa Monica one or
Oh, you're
Machado?
not showing. Hold on. Let me
The
hold
Santa Monica one. Yes, please.
All right, cool. Let me just see. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah. Santa Monica gets educationally deceived by Bitcoin. Rather than invest back into the community, Santa Monica is more invested in a Ponzi scheme ruled by capitalism. It's a tragically common story. Do you want to read the article, or do you want to talk about it?
Let's see. I could read it. Yeah, why not? I'll pretend to be indie for the day, read the article in length, and go over it. Okay, so you've already read the title, so let's get to the main part. Behold the image of the Santa Monica Pier, located in California, and its Ferris wheel displaying the Bitcoin symbol. There was a time when Santa Monica was not largely influenced by Ponzi schemes and scammers, but now it seems that the Santa Monica City Council, along with other privileged institutions, are completely behind promoting Bitcoin as an education initiative. This is purely a distraction for Santa Monica, and on a wider scale, the Los Angeles County to not address its ongoing problems, such as the increasing rise of unaffordable homes and rents, the mismanagement of actually helping the homeless and those in poverty, the influence of politics and corporations running rampant in the heart of Los Angeles, not to mention the Crypto.com arena being located right in downtown Los Angeles, and the increasing unprecedented budget for police and fire departments. So, how did Santa Monica become a massive low now with the inclusion of Bitcoin? This article will explore three major influencers, from the pioneer who promoted Bitcoin in Santa Monica to the vice mayor of the Santa Monica Council, and finally, prominent individuals and institutions, particularly one Bitcoin educator, fraud, who collectively urged for the support of a Bitcoin office to make it sound good. Except all of this is another form of Ponzi where yet again Bitcoin is involved. Who is Don B? Is proof of workforce a Ponzi? Meet Don B, 15-year firefighter, former president of the Santa Monica Firefighters Union, and currently the founder and CEO of the nonprofit company Proof of Workforce. Since 2017, Bay has explored how Bitcoin can best serve groups such as firefighters. Bay describes Proof of Work as a nonprofit which helps workers, unions, and pension funds with education-based adoption. Through Bay, the Santa Monica Firefighter Union is the first union in the United States to buy Bitcoin and hold it in self-custody. Thus far, things appear to be genuine, except that nonprofits aren't always geared towards helping individuals and small businesses as far as getting out of debt or calling for drastic changes towards abolishing the system. The duopoly, the dark money donors, the military-industrial complex, speculative assets such as stocks, crypto, so forth. And then down below, we got the board of directors. So these board of directors, they stem from finance, carbon markets, Bitcoin Magazine, Swan Bitcoin, to even one of them, Lisa Hoge, being referred as a quote-unquote Bitcoin leader by global media company Forbes. These are no ordinary folk. All 7 board of directors come from an establishment background. Even Don Bing himself, who has the prestige of being both a firefighter and a businessman.
You watching the comments?
I'm
go ahead, Michael. Go ahead, Michael.
just saying I can't. I was just in my screen, so I couldn't see what was going on.
Oh, okay. I have a question because I want to clarify when we're talking about Bitcoin being are you saying all of crypto is a Ponzi scheme or Bitcoin specifically? Because I know Bitcoin has a cap, whereas Dogecoin doesn't have a cap on it at all, so you could buy as much anybody could buy Dogecoin. There's no limit. So that
Right.
sounds
Right. So there are some crypto like Doge and Ethereum where there is no cap, and then there are others like Bitcoin and Litecoin where there's a cap.
okay.
Frankly, Abby, I think all of them stem from the origins of like blockchain and its
Mhm.
predecessors, from like cyberpunks, NSA, CIA. I think it's all part of a
All of it.
massive grift, a Ponzi, basically like a manufactured consent to get retailers to approve and to adapt to, newer forms of like technology that we already have here. Except the difference now is that everything's going to be considered quote unquote decentralized, except that it's not so much decentralized when you have certain individuals, certain influencers who essentially quote unquote control the value of a certain exchange, like a certain cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin. The only
So
reason Bitcoin is still worth what it is because so many people have poured their money into that blockchain, especially that of like BlackRock, MicroStrategy, politicians, and whatnot.
I say you can leave that up. So Cobra says it's not supposed to be a scam, but the problem is rich folks like Musk can artificially inflate the market. So in the end, it's used corruptly. And I wanted to bring that up because I was just thinking, like, okay, they're thinking these psychopaths are thinking short term. You could take it down now. Thinking short term of how can I make all the money? You know how they are. How can I make this opportunity to make money now, 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 now? And when it inevitably crashes, you've really shot yourself in the foot for what you're ultimately trying to do, which is go to a cashless society. Because who is going to um, who's going to want to do that after having gone through this kind of experience once this the house of cards falls down, right?
Right. I mean, I mean, that's kind of more or less what's happening in El Salvador, where for those who want to get paid in Bitcoin, El Salvadorans may have to, if they choose to, that is, if they choose to like primarily rely on Bitcoin, they may have to adapt to the whole volatility and the whole, other outside factors that affect the Bitcoin and the blockchain. And it's not going to be because of them, but it's going to be because of people with more Bitcoin, with more political power. Real quickly about El Salvador. I don't know if anyone was aware, but the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, he is Palestinian. Yet, ironically enough, he is pro-Israel. He supports, like he condemns Hamas. He supports business relations with Israel in terms of technology and military. What you may hear about El Salvador being a paradise, and it's free of street games. Okay, that may at first glance that appears to be the case, but what the people of El Salvador don't recognize quite yet is that Bukele himself has his own interests at heart. So does Max Kaiser, and so does corporations and institutions that want to pour their money and their interests and their wealth into El Salvador. They're not pouring over there to El Salvador to help the El Salvadorians. They're pouring the money out there to exploit them. Like in the Max Kaiser document, I forgot to mention one other thing real quick. So he had mentioned about how Donald Trump Jr. and Matt Gaetz, Kaiser bragged about how the two of them are buying property off of El Salvador. So to me, it sounds like not only is this like a Ponzi scheme, not just of the cryptocurrency, but it's also a Ponzi scheme of capitalist real estate, like tokenizing everything, so that pretty much you have to have tokens, you have to have crypto in order to go about your everyday means. So they're trying to force push this nonsense. And for anyone who thinks that CBDCs will be any better, it definitely will not be better. Don't get me wrong, it will not be better. As the same politicians, the same billionaires, and the same crypto gals, crypto borrow folks say. But what they fail to realize is that it's still blockchain at the end of the day. It's still based out of a computer network. And where in history have you seen technology thrive? Big tech, Silicon Valley. There's no reason to doubt that even Bitcoin and its predecessors via electronic cash, they could have stemmed up from right here in the United States, from big tech, from the CIA, from the NSA, So I feel like these people who want to dictate the world with crypto, what they're not telling the people, what they're not telling communities is they're not even bringing up the whole discussion about who or what quote unquote Satoshi Nakamoto was. They're not even tracing back to possible origins of that. They want to they don't want people to do their own research. They just want people to go along with the flow and shut up, follow orders. I think that's what Kit would say.
That's what they're saying in the chat.
So yeah, Cobra, it should not be a scam. I agree, it should not be a scam, but with the direction it's going, it is a scam, my friend. It is a scam. Unfortunately, if anyone thought that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency could help Palestine, no, it can't. Okay, first and foremost, Palestine needs to be free from Israel. It needs to be free from U.S. intervention. They need proper food, water, electricity, shelter. They have none of that. And even for the savvy ones who maybe had some cryptocurrency in Binance, look what happened to them. They're getting screwed. They're getting screwed no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You have anything to add, Michael?
Yeah. Well, I was, as far as what you're just saying, kind of reminds me of that article I was reading earlier today about the Lebanon pager attacks spark crypto supply chain fears. So people are trying to suggest that Palestine and Lebanon should be adopting Bitcoin as a way to obtain that financial independence and sovereignty. But when we're looking at kind of under the hood of, is it really safe to do that, to accomplish that objective, we're kind of finding that it's like a whole, like it's a big clusterfuck of a situation, like you're saying, right? So maybe I'll share this article a little bit. But so a crypto hardware wallet contains dozens of electronic components sourced from third-party manufacturers. Components sit in warehouses abroad for weeks, then in ships, trains, and trucks, and then on shelves at the manufacturer's warehouse. Throughout these steps, employees of numerous companies have an opportunity to compromise the supply chain. To counteract these risks, hardware wallet manufacturers perform spot checks, interview logistics personnel, review camera footage, conduct impromptu interviews, and even plant undercover workers in their own facilities at third-party vendors. So far, their security practices have mostly worked, aside from isolated incidents like the December 2023 Ledger Connect kit attack or the 2022 hacks of Slope and BitKeep hardware wallets. There have been surprisingly few hardware hacks in crypto's history. Allegedly, this is one of those things where I'm sure that there's so much happening in secret that people are not disclosing because they're up to all kinds of no good. And so you can hack, criminals can hack each other, and no one's really going to disclose it. So, however, recent events in Lebanon have the entire crypto community on edge. And suddenly, just like that, people will finally start worrying about supply chain attacks, right? So it's basically, the thing is, you want to rely on it, but then when you look into the actual like hardware components of how is it, how do you actually acquire the technology, the hardware to use your Bitcoin? Well, that right there is a vulnerability that can be exploited to do all kinds of nasty stuff. So
Yes, 100% agreed. And for the matter, the whole commotion of like acquiring Bitcoin, mining Bitcoin. Well, first you need to have electricity, but in order to have electricity, you need to extract oil. And what does the United States and even Israel have? And what do they want? They want your oil. And what's the point of mining for cryptocurrency when you're going to have to use natural resources anyways? And yeah, and thank you for putting my comment up, Abby. This is not just solely in Israel or United States. This is like in countries that are U.S. allied, such as the opposition leader of Venezuela, Machado. She herself is a Bitcoin Zionist. I have another article about her. If whenever you folks like to check it out, I go over how back in the day she used to shake hands with the Bush administration. She used to bribe people to not vote for Chavez, Hugo Chavez. And then presently, as far back as 2018, Machado, he wanted to she wanted to reach out to Israel, to Bibi Netanyahu, and deal with the matter of the relations between Venezuela and Iran. So you have a lot of dishonest actors and fraudsters, even from the higher ups. So if we just get back to that article about the Santa Monica firefighter, I know we kind of drew that off a little bit.
You just bring it back.
Yeah. So there's a paragraph about where I'm going to summarize this. So there was a moment where Dom Bean, he goes through the Bitcoin conference. He talks about some more about Bitcoin. He explains how he thinks that Bitcoin is outside the system because of scarcity, because it's decentralized. And he even quotes Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers, where he says, "The essence of liberty is independence, which is dependent upon the ownership of productive property." But then Ben adds that Bitcoin, quote unquote, cannot be taken or manipulated. Which is funny because if you look at history, even Thomas Jefferson wasn't a complete saint himself. He ran into, he butted heads with another founding father by the name of Alexander Hamilton. Mainly, the dispute was about how should the government run. Okay, so then, during that conference, he talked about how corporate media was being negative about Bitcoin and all that. He acknowledged that Bitcoin is prone to crashing. It's volatile. He admitted that BlackRock and wealthy people have seized many Bitcoin. So he admits this. So why is he advocating for communities to get involved in Bitcoin then? Why is he telling people to find Bitcoin from places such as family, churches, workers, wage earners? I mean, what's his agenda here? He says he wants to educate people on Bitcoin. Okay. And then what do you do with that education exactly? What do you do with it? So I'm going to go into the next paragraph, and this one I'll read in length. This part here matters a lot more. So this is about how Santa Monica gets compromised for a Bitcoin office. So I can go ahead and read that if you guys like.
Yeah. You want me to switch articles here? Or?
It's which article you want? Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So you just gotta scroll down a little bit below.
You want to? This is where we had left off, I think. Did you want to go to a different section here?
There it is. Yeah.
This one. All right.
Yeah, because I kind of briefly summarized the previous paragraph. So with this, I'm gonna read it out loud. So Santa Monica gets compromised for a Bitcoin office. Back on July 10, Santa Monica City Council launched the pilot Bitcoin office program at no cost to the city. Approved 720 and in partnership with Bain's company, the Bitcoin office was set to provide comprehensive education about Bitcoin and its role in the modern economy. The city councils and similarly the proof of works mission primarily focuses on identifying and facilitating Bitcoin industry partnerships to actively support Santa Monica's economic recovery and cultivate new employment opportunities. What's more, what good is this co-manufactured education if topic matters pro advocating Bitcoin have not been thoroughly consented by the people of Santa Monica and as a whole the Los Angeles County? The city of Santa Monica is aware of the risk of cryptocurrency. So what is the catch here? Here's a quote from the city themselves. So they said, the city of Santa Monica, in partnership with Proof of Work, discussions and consideration of Bitcoin, including mining, investment, and education, shall not be considered financial or investment advice. Well, we know when they say that it's all bullshit. Anyways, the information is provided for educational purposes only and is not a solicitation to buy, sell, or hold Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency or financial assets. Investing in cryptocurrencies or other assets involves significant risk and potential losses. Individuals should conduct their own research and consult with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. The city and the proof of workforce disclaim any liability for losses or damages from reliance on the information provided. Participants are responsible for their own financial decisions. Yeah, well, maybe if you guys hadn't started this trope, people wouldn't be making reckless decisions and buying more than they should of whatever crypto they're holding.
Golden Monarch, I closed my eyes for a second. I thought you were Bad Cookies, and I was on the Tin Rabbit podcast.
Oh my god, maybe this is a lost episode of the Tin Rabbit. Yeah, maybe. But hang in there, Abby. Hang in there. I sure we're halfway there. Okay. Okay. So if we scroll below, next paragraph. Who's this hot-looking bartending chick? No, not I'm joking. She's not a bartender. So this is Vice Mayor Lana Negrete. So let's begin. How did Don Bay, who had invested far more into Bitcoin than putting out fire, get exactly what he wanted from the Santa Monica City Council? Enter Lana, a Democrat, renter, vice president, and the co-owner of Santa Monica Music Center, and currently the vice mayor of the Santa Monica City Council. Born and raised in Santa Monica, Negrete was first appointed to the city council around July 2021. It was Negrete who requested the city council to put in the anonymously approved 7-0 vote. When Negrete directly addressed how Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are part of a $1 trillion industry, she referred back to the purpose of not Bitcoin, but Bitcoin Office. And this is what she says. This is not about the assets or the commodity. It is truly about educating. We have been a leader in so many things. We are currently battling a lot of negative news and a retail climate that's really hard for some of our areas, like our downtown Santa Monica area. We're consistently looking at how we could bring back economic recovery. I think these are some interesting out-of-the-box ideas we've been discussing. Frankly, Negrete understands very little about thinking outside of the box. She has followed the footsteps of El Salvador's introduction with Bitcoin without diving deeper into who the con artists in El Salvador are, such as Max Kaiser and his wife, Stacey Herbert, or what geopolitical positions does El Salvador support, such as WikiLeaks condemning Hamas, and yet he's a supporter of Israel. Other council members, Davis and Medlin, have noted how cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, have invited scams and have made people lose money. The two have expressed how the city runs at risk of being sued, with complaints potentially taken to the Supreme Court. If both the city councils and the Proof of Works partnership do not work out successfully in the long term as they hope, then they will be finding themselves in a dilemma, having to remind people that nobody suggested to anybody to invest in Bitcoin. Obviously, this is bullshit, an obvious excuse, a lie to cover up the dirty hands of this is not financial advice. So to Bay and Negrete, why go all in for Bitcoin, let alone a Bitcoin office? As the vice mayor, Negrete has expressed she is not fully an expert in Bitcoin, despite being excited about it. Why is Negrete naively going into fields where she is not an expert in? That is a problem. Negrete, who sits in a political city position, is not expected to be a thorough expert so long as she fundamentally supports from organizations who back her and who want the city of Santa Monica to continue maintaining the status quo mindset. And below are some endorsements that she has received. The second one, the Heart of LA Democratic Club. That is a red flag right there. That consists of Democrats, frankly. I mean, but anyways, let me keep reading on. With Bitcoin Office in the equation and Negrete's somewhat blind support for it, he is happy enough to make easy money and promotion, all while turning blind to any damnations associated with her Democratic colleagues in power. And yeah, as I said, the Heart of LA Democratic Club. I do have a link in the article below, Open Secrets and Blue Var Guide, which we could take a look at when you guys are finished. So we're about halfway there, or more than halfway there. This one, all right. God, I hate this bitch. All right, Natalie Brunel and Don Bay. Negrete, along with Bay, have never truly acted alone when devising to shake up Santa Monica with Bitcoin education, which has been co-manufactured and designed to be embraced in modern economies. The two individuals are not outsiders under the eyes of the establishment, such as the two-party system and JP Morgan, and neither are privileged individuals and institutions who express positive support for the launch of the Bitcoin Office. One of these individuals is a Bitcoin educator, crypto gal, grifter, simple billionaire such as Michael Saylor, Elon Musk 2.0, media commentator, Natalie Brunel. So who is she exactly? Now, at first glance, do not be fooled by Brunel's political status of being independent. He is far detached from any independent organizations who are entirely done with the establishment and two-party system. The best word to describe Brunel is an opportunist who has her fair share of once working at CNN as a freelance associate producer, ABC News as a national freelance correspondent, Spectrum as senior correspondent, investigative journalist, so on Bitcoin as anchor, managing editor for a hard money show, and currently Coin Stories podcast as host creator.
She sounds completely credible and
Very independent.
and
Right.
very trustworthy.
Oh yeah. Well, just you wait. I'm
I
about
mean,
to
just
reveal to you who our
look
sponsor
at
is.
that bubbly smile.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Before I continue, real quick, I would frequently mistake Natalie Brunell for someone like Crystal Ball from Breaking Points or Caitlin Collins from CNN. I mean, okay, pretty ladies. They look charming. They seem energetic, positive, but they're all part of keeping the status quo. They're dishonest people.
You know what they are? It's like the brunettes of Fox News. So I guess Fox News has
Right,
all the blondes and then CNN has all the brunettes.
right. I mean,
Oh,
as if it wasn't
oh, okay. That's a
obvious
good
already,
point.
they are all three white gals. But
Black Life said because
anyways,
brunettes are supposed to be smarter, so that's why they have them
I
over with the liberals.
suppose, but not in this instance.
They present like the police company.
Yeah.
That Chrissy or Janet.
All right.
So,
Here we go.
earlier in June, Brunel invited on Bay to Coin Stories podcast to talk Bitcoin. The two discussed why firefighters and other members of the working class need Bitcoin, pension funds adopting Bitcoin, unions adopting Bitcoin, getting Arnold Schwarzenegger to learn about Bitcoin. Bruno mentions she loves firefighters, such as Bay, because they are hard workers. Her favorite sources when she used to report news prior to Bitcoin. And she describes firefighters as a growing industry where Bruno is very excited for Bay to quote unquote orange pill other firefighters. Whoa there, put out the fire. And very similar to Bitcoin Magazine sponsoring Dom Bay, Natalie Brunell is heavily sponsored by Bitcoin sponsorships, including that of BitDeer, On-Chain, the Bitcoin Conference 2024, aka RNC Convention 2.0, Speed, CoinKite, the Bitcoin Way. Wow, she's so independent, huh? And then I think we're about last paragraph down. So what is staff report 6514? So let me read this for you guys. Rewinding back, the City Council of Santa Monica, under Negrette's request, desired for the city to work alongside Proof of Workforce to pilot a Bitcoin office in Santa Monica. According to the website, 4 initiatives were brought to the council in terms of educating Bitcoin, which in truth is co-manufactured by Ponzi's and conflicts of interest. The first one, Bitcoin education for Santa Monica residents, students, businesses, and workforce. 2, identify and facilitate Bitcoin initiatives, partnerships that support Santa Monica's economic recovery and cultivate economic growth while attracting a global Bitcoin conference and tourism industry. 3, identify remote and local career opportunities for Santa Monica residents and students. And 4, explore the potential of utilizing stranded city-generated renewable energy to explore environmentally neutral Bitcoin mining. And upon investigating, quote, written comments, link is in the article, in large part, there are advocates who wrote in full support of item 16. And these advocates include Forbes, Fairmont Miramar, the USC Schwarzenegger Institute, the Santa Monica Chamber of Commerce, Downtown Santa Monica Incorporation, DTSM, UC Los Angeles, UCLA, Pat O'Brien of the Taunton Firefighters Union 138, Mickey Ross, Disabled Special Operations Veteran, Forbes Digital Assets Contributor, Cornell University, located in upstate New York, Ocean. I think what Indy said about it is it's a shitcoin, and yeah, Natalie Brunell herself. So
it sounds like a lot of people are going to get paid to do number 1 through 4. They're going to be the gatekeepers. They're going to get paid a lot of money to do much of nothing.
Yeah, they're going to have the bigger say above anybody else. Exactly. On page 9 of the written comments article, Brunel claims a Bitcoin office will help make Santa Monica leaders in the burgeoning Bitcoin industry has seen firsthand the transformative potential of the Bitcoin network and has the power to create jobs, promote financial inclusion, foster innovation per the American dream. Essentially, a word salad coming out of Brunel's mouth. One can easily mistaken. Oh yeah, I said this already about Natalie Brunel, Crystal Ball, Caitlin Collins. I can't tell them apart. They look all the same to me. To add further insult to injury, Brunel claims Bitcoin mining can be powered by renewable energy sources, reduce Santa Monica's carbon footprint, and contribute to a cleaner, healthier environment. Huh? What? How? Much like they and Negrete, Brunel plays ignorantly by sidelining the establishment's heavy propaganda on not only Bitcoin but even climate change, particularly on how both big oil and crypto contribute to the unending manufactured consent of climate change, as well as the two things being the largest funding of this year's clownish election between Trump and Harris. So, this should be the final paragraph. Yes. So, how the bit hell can anyone take Don Day, Lana Negrete, and especially Natalie Brunel seriously? All three of them are complicit with keeping the status quo, distracting consumers with digital nonsense instead of hands-on helping out communities to get out of financial debt and or offer proper jobs, and distract people who are orange-pilled from the grim reality of the two-party system being bought out by AIPAC, which, by the way, is still launching a genocide in Gaza, who, alongside Binance, have confiscated Palestinians' cryptocurrency, which led to hashtag boycott Binance. So a firefighter, a vice mayor, and a crypto gal walk into the bar, and out came the drink Fireball that went out in flames along with Santa Monica. Perhaps Bay should study more about how the system continues to keep firefighters and cops to primarily look out for the elites instead of the people. Perhaps Negrete should not only do her own research on the full history of Bitcoin and its predecessors of, quote, electronic cash. She should be in direct touch with the people of Santa Monica instead of organizations such as the Heart of LA Democratic Club. And perhaps Natalie Brunel, possibly the biggest culprit in the story, should cut the crap and admit where she gets all her talking points of Bitcoin from, which are namely from the pro-Zionist Bitcoin scholarship media, the same media where she used to contribute to news outlets, who for decades have been heavily biased for Israel, Wall Street, the military-industrial complex, and yes, even blockchain technology. With that said, hashtag free Palestine, Palestine emoji, hashtag fuck Bitcoin, go to Mark. The end.
Drop the mic. So, I just wanted I'm going to put up something really quick for you guys. So, Bad Cookie says, Golden Monarch, I had to dig deep into the comments to find this one. Golden Monarch used to get called crazy for always bucking about crypto. I told him one day he will be vindicated. Monarch has always been ahead of the curve in terms of crypto. So that's a good shout out to you from Bad Cookies Golden Monarch. And we're just happy you brought that knowledge here to us on Noteworthy because I wouldn't have been able to I wouldn't have been able to present this. So thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Abby, Miguel. Thank you so much to the community here at Cookies, Mastermind, Cobra, everybody. Shout out to Indy, Brief, and all the other independent medias, who really want to be about bringing change. We really want to be about, rejecting the two-party system, rejecting, Ponzi schemes like crypto, Bitcoin, CBDCs, and who really want to I feel like they want to get out of capitalism in general, because the longer we're in late stage capitalism, the wider the poor and the rich, the water that continues to extend and extend and extend. And whenever you hear people talk about get rich Ponzi schemes or become a millionaire, well, I don't think that even matters anymore, because even if someone is a millionaire in today's standards, that's still not enough money throughout their whole life, throughout you know being able to afford a house, afford a car, afford decent, reasonable things, food especially.
Mhm.
I feel like communities like this and other channels, they need to really question the whole narrative of you know propaganda from the establishment, especially when it comes to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And for those who, let's say, still accept Bitcoin donations, such as Medhurst, uh, Whitney Webb, Kalen Johnstone, I mean, they're free to do so as they wish, but I think they should one day maybe ask themselves is whether if what they're doing, if what they're doing in terms of donations, if it's really ended up helping them, or are they indirectly helping out the bigger corporates in this fiasco, which are BlackRock, MicroStrategy, the elites.
Blackstone,
Right.
Vanguard, Golden.
Yeah, Vanguard even. I haven't mentioned Vanguard yet, because it's kind of funny, because I was even looking at Vanguard, and for some reason, last I checked, Vanguard hasn't actually offered cryptocurrency, or I think they haven't implemented any ETFs, crypto ETFs. So it could be this is not me defending Vanguard or anything, but it seems like Vanguard isn't necessarily approaching this matter as most other financial institutions are, like BlackRock, Fidelity, Coinbase, all that.
Well, it's an interesting observation. Sorry, just it's worth paying attention to going forward. If there is a difference between how Vanguard is approaching this risky situation as opposed to BlackRock and stuff like that.
I was Michael. I was just gonna say well, maybe that's strategic because they all own each other's companies in some type of way. So maybe one of them has to remain stable so they can recover quickly. You know what I mean? I don't know. I,
Yeah. Well, now I'm
it's almost
reminded
like
we should probably plug. Ben Norton did a video. See if I can find it. Maybe talking about how BlackRock seems to be more. Trying to remember which one is which. Like one of these, Vanguard seems to be kind of backing either the Democrats or the Republicans, and then BlackRock is vice versa. I'm just not sure which it is, but Ben Norton did a good hour-long video on that. I haven't seen anyone else talk about that. So.
Yeah, I actually about Ben Norton, I actually watched his video about, he was talking about BlackRock and Blackstone and Bitcoin. So BlackRock is backing Kamala, and BlackRock is backing
no.
Kamala. Blackstone is backing Trump. But no matter how you look at it, they're all backing the establishment. They're all backing, they're
Yeah.
all influencing, the policy matters. Like the politicians, they don't make their own bills. The bills are written for them, essentially. They're coming from the higher ups in finance
Right.
and APAC.
the lobbyists and think tank
And lobbyists, yeah.
and the think tanks and all that crap.
Yeah. And real quick, I posted two links on the chat because about Vanguard. I want to make sure I'm what I'm saying is accurate. So the first article is from this year of January 2024, but the second article, it seems to somewhat contradict that. This is from May of 2024. The new CEO, now his name is Salim Ramdeen. I think he might possibly be in favor of ETFs, crypto ETFs, but I'm not sure yet. Again, from what I've seen, they haven't offered Bitcoin ETFs yet. Maybe down the road they might, which again, it doesn't really like. I mean, what does it show? It just shows that all these finances are pretty much they're basically killing
So,
the whole point of what Bitcoin's supposed to
Golden,
be.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but the only way we could show it is if you put the article in the private chat.
Oh, in the private chat. Oh, like Discord or what?
Yeah, I'm glad. No. If you look to the right on StreamYard, you'll see private chat. Like, I'm glad you put it in the chat for everybody, but if you put it on the right, then we'll be able to pick it up. He's on StreamYard. I mean, he's on here with us.
Let's see, because I'm on StreamYard on my phone, and then
Oh, you're on your phone.
and then I'm
That
on.
might make it difficult.
So we might be able to copy and paste if they've already been put in the main chat. We should be able to just.
You have to do it from your.
Oh,
you have to do it from your phone. Let me see what I can do.
Hide the show button. We can't actually copy and paste the letters.
Right, exactly.
Oh, okay.
So,
Copy that. Well,
that's okay.
I mean, we don't have to necessarily talk about it anymore. I'm more than welcome to share with you two on Discord, but yeah, I'll provide the links. I mean, it's just information, really. But yeah.
Okay, if you want to put it on Discord, I could probably pull it up. So while you're doing that, I just want to remind everybody: please like, share, subscribe. It only takes a minute. Hi, Milestones Thoughts.
Nice to see you. I don't think we've seen you in here yet.
Yeah, welcome.
Always good to see a new viewer.
And also, while he's doing that, I'm going to ask him later if he has predictions. But like Golden Monarch said, that he's always ahead of the curve. So, I mean, I'm sorry, like Bad Cookie said, Golden Monarch's always ahead of the curve on crypto. Well, Bad Cookies kind of was ahead of the curve on, I don't even know, I want to say something in domestic.
Jill Stein?
Yeah. I didn't know how to put it. Like, so JB had an announcement today, and Bad Cookies was vindicated because I mean, I guess I was too, because it was odd, like very odd how hard they were going for Jill Stein in the paint. And
well, it seems like they're trying to scoop up this nice talent, this young talent coming up with JB and Nick and maybe Savvy and stuff. Where I'm wondering what they're going to be doing after this campaign is over. They're offered money and a job. Would they want to continue working with the Green Party?
I mean, I think it's okay to promote a candidate or what have you, but I just, they were way harder on Cornel West, and like Jill Stein, she had some questionable stuff they never questioned her about, never asked her, and I thought that was odd.
Well, it's one of the things that happens when people have decide who to ally with someone. They have to kind of avoid excessive criticism of their own allies, as to avoid undermining themselves and their movement.
That's not the way they presented themselves. So
yeah, good to keep an eye and to maintain that critical thinking, right? And you observe a contradiction, you're not hallucinating, right? We all kind of see it. So
yes,
as far as what is that's maybe their approach and analysis. And then the question would be whatever we are observing has to do with our perspective and what might be flawed about how we
About how we view it. Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. So I'm trying to keep an open mind here.
is what I'm thinking is the kingmaker problem is what comes to mind. This is what kind of the Democrats have been saying. Vote for the Green Party will let Trump win, and people want to dismiss that as just like a talking point. But there's, as far as game theory is concerned, that is basically what happens with the way that the electoral system is set up. The Green Party, whether it likes it or not, is in this kingmaker problem. So when they section of the population chooses to vote for Jill Stein, those people are typically, I would imagine, are Democratic voters that she was stealing from the Democrats. Instead of, it's less likely that she would be stealing voters from the Republicans there. So the effect of having a popular, effective Green Party is to, at the end of the day, essentially make Trump the one that will win, as opposed to Harris. So how do you deal with that problem?
To me, it doesn't matter who wins.
Right. So
What
if we
matters is my
matter
integrity of my vote.
Harris, it doesn't matter who Jill Stein makes the king, basically. So it doesn't matter if you support Jill Stein. Essentially, is the
Mm,
conclusion to that that analysis there. So, but what have I
yes.
got wrong?
Uh,
Maybe. Sorry.
no, you're fine. Yes. She didn't want to run, or did she not? Because I don't know, because that whole I I knew Peter Dow before I didn't know him, or I don't know him at all, but we work with each other. It was just strange. Like, I know you know the answer to this question, so why the flip flop based on, I don't know. I just didn't like it.
And I have bigger problems
I
with
didn't like
like
it at all.
with Jill Stein being like from Harvard. I think that kind of compromises her ideologically speaking. It makes it so that she's kind of been trained to be more pro-capitalist than I think people want to admit there. She can do the talking points of being an eco-socialist, but at the end of the day, if you look at the fine print of what she's intending to try to do, like Harvard is got this like huge $1 billion fund thing, right? And they have a massive imprint on the markets and stuff like that. So unless she's intending to like literally go after Harvard and take away some of their influence and power and money, like I don't think she intends to do that. I feel like she's gonna at the end of the day kind of protect where she comes from. So,
Yeah. No, Bryce, I get that. The Greens, they have to run a party to remain they have to run a candidate. They absolutely have to. I get that. I understand that.
it's just extremely
But did it
expensive.
have to be her?
Do we really
She could
want to
have.
ask the working class to be pouring their resources into this campaign when we could be using that money for something else?
Yeah. I
Could I
know.
say something on the matter real quick about that? Or
Yep. Uh,
Go
one
ahead.
thing I know, the vice president, her vice presidential pick. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. He didn't want to run, so. But go ahead, Golden.
well, yeah. So this is Jill Stein's third time running, right? Because this is her third time.
I think it's the
Yeah.
third.
So
Third,
everyone
yeah.
already knows who Jill Stein is. We know what she stands for. It's great and all, but at some point, she's gonna have to pass down the leadership to somebody else.
You gotta recruit more people.
I wish that the Green Party had someone like they have in the People's and Socialists PSL. What's her name? Claudia de la Cruz. I wish the Green Party had someone like Claudia de la Cruz. You
Right?
know, on fire, energy, has the magnitude to like, the energy to like, really like stir conversations.
You mean
Uh,
Jasmine Sherman?
Wait, what?
I said, you mean Jasmine Sherman?
No, not Jasmine Sherman. Well, I mean, yeah, Jasmine Sherman, sure, but I was thinking like, yeah, I guess I was that's what I meant. But
Yeah.
I was thinking Claudia La Cruz because she's from a different third party. The problem is that her party they don't have enough ballots, so I kind of wish like there was some sort of collaboration between like the Green Party and the party that Claudia de la Cruz and her VP Karina Garcia are part of, because I think they both want the same thing, which is to reject the two-party system. You know?
I just wish she would have ran on the VP and let someone else take the mantle.
Yeah, that too. I wish so too. But that's why. I mean, I think that's why people thought Cornell's gonna run. But then there's some falling out between Cornell and Jill, and I wasn't Cornell going crazy as far as, I don't know, referring to Jill as a racist or something, or that.
He didn't want to do the obligations that he had. That's what he said.
I think he was. Well, okay. I can't remember exactly what he said, so I don't want to speculate. But it sounded like there was some animosity by the way she was like trying to handle him or something. I don't know. He's a intellectual, so he probably doesn't want to take instruction from someone. I don't know. Bad Cookie says my problem with Jill Stein is her ties to the MIC, the DNC, and her ties with Peter Dow. Why did everyone defend Peter Dow when Dr. Cornel West said he was the only one available with experience? Did everybody defend Peter Dow?
Yeah, but I find it interesting that people kind of selectively forget that Jill Stein used to be a Democrat. And then if you are a Democratic Party that wants to send someone to go control the other opposition third party, that's a problem for you. Wouldn't it be nice to have someone stop, leave the party allegedly, willfully out of disillusionment or something, and then go kind of clandestinely join that new organization and rise to the top to lead it? But then at the end of the day, like, that's really kind of a paranoid kind of way to look at it. But if that's what that would be, the way that the Democrats and the Republicans operate, that I would not put that past them at all.
I'm looking for Jill Stein's campaign manager because I'm very curious to know who that is. Jason Call? Wait. Jason Call? Is this recent? Yeah. Who is Jason Call? So we're going to have to delve into that. That's a name I haven't heard before. Jason Call. It's our 2024 campaign manager. And there is an interview with him. So we should watch that interview. Oh, his face looks familiar. Oh, it's on the Vanguard. That's why. That's the Vanguard's face. And it's members only content. I am not joining just to get this interview. Why would you want to hide that from people? What the fuck? All right, anyway. I have your articles if you want to just go through them really quickly. Is there anything else you want to say, Mike, on this topic before I pull up these articles?
Not really, except for maybe this comment by Cookies. This part about that Savvy yelled at people for not trusting Dow. She said, you know, guys, people can change, right? So that is one of those like really prickly issues. It's like, yes, that is true. There is, and we do want to have redemption for those who can change. We want, like, that's an asset that you can have that you didn't have before if you have someone who genuinely turned over a new leaf. And this is what we're kind of seeing is happening with the ACP party there, the American Communist Party. They've elected to have these leaders, Hawes and Hinkle, do this this face change, right? Where, okay, we've said some bigoted things in the past. We've maybe had some bad takes or whatever, and yet they've decided, oh, maybe we can redeem their name, right? And we can make use of basically it is their clout that they're going after, just like with Peter Dow. We need that experience, we need that expertise, whatever it is. But then you can't just say that people can change, because, like, in general, we know that people can change, but we also know that people don't change sometimes, and people pretend to change and all that. So you gotta it's like a tightrope, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, and it's just that whole thing about fussing at people for not going along with Peter Dowd, like having a back, or at least looking at him, sideways, saying, "I don't particularly trust you. I'm not quite sure if I want to get on board with you yet. You just can't. I need some proof. You know what I mean?" And fussing at people about that, but then also Jill Stein saying, like, lying about her relationship to him and with him over the years. It was just, it didn't pass the smell test to me.
Yeah.
So I'm still on the fence about, because the election's coming up in a month. Like,
Yeah.
we better figure this shit out. 2 months.
Well, now in Canada, the NDP party has stopped its supply and confidence agreement that it had with the Liberals, Trudeau government. And then, so the Conservative has made the Pierre Poilievre has taken the opportunity to call out the NDP leader Jagmeet Singh and saying, well, if you stopped having confidence in the government, then you'll be willing to do a no confidence motion, and we could call a snap election. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're just being performative, and you're going to end the confidence agreement and still have confidence in the government. So
Mhm.
then people are saying it doesn't make much sense for us to be having a snap election. It would be better for us to wait and see the outcome of the American election. Even if I think we call for a snap election, I think it would take too long. I think yours would come to a conclusion first, anyways. But
I'd be curious to know what was your list after West, even before West. West was charismatic. I think that was probably a good pick if he would have. Mm, I would love to see the list before they pick someone, because I'd love to see, was Richard Wolf on that list? He would have been a great candidate.
yeah, who,
Because
like, when you're
they have to
trying
say
for a job,
yes.
like who didn't get the job? Is that what you're saying? That you can
Yeah.
get? Yeah.
Who got offered and turned it down? That's what I want to know. Who did you even offer it to? Or are you just gatekeeping, to keep this? I don't know. Maybe people don't want the job. I don't know. But Richard Wolf would have been great.
Well, I
Even
thought Richard Wolf does support the Green Party from what I looked up. So,
mhm. And he has the star power and the knowledge.
but he might be too Marxist because the Green Party is trying to be that fence sitter that appeals to socialists and, like, whatever normies, people that are not diehard leftists, right? They're trying to appeal to the petty bourgeois basically as well. And if you have this hardcore Marxist in a position of power, you're not gonna be able to get from both sides of that fence, I guess. So,
Well, a lot of petty bourgeoisie, they have a place to go. Like,
yeah.
this is supposed to be the alternative. So what's wrong with a Richard Wolf? That's what we're supposed to be going for. A dramatic change.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know,
I'm sure. Yeah, go
another
ahead.
person who I think they could have considered. I don't know if he turned it down or not, but Ojama Baraka.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the name I was trying to come up with. He did not want to run.
He did not want to run. Oh, okay,
He did not want to run.
got it.
There's also
He did
that
the last time.
there's also that the guy, he's in California. I think he was running against is it lit he was running for senator though. He's really good. I saw him on Jimmy Dore a couple of times. I follow him. I gotta find his name. Sorry for even bringing it up, and I don't remember his name. But anyway, any more comments on the subject before we go back to yes,
Well, I'm not sure
Cobra.
if we're going to be wrapping up shortly, but I did want to. I had found a video on Rumble about the crypto stuff. Just to quickly bring it back to that before we say goodbye to Monarch here. I was this guy's making this claim that it's this video on Rumble. It's called NSA, Ripple, BlackRock, J.P. Morgan, and the new CBDC dollar. So they're basically this guy's trying to make a claim that with the crash of the U.S. dollar hegemony, they're going to try and bring up like XRP as the new to replace the U.S. dollar. So what do you know about XRP? Something that you'd be able to tell us, Monarch?
Yeah, so XRP, Ripple, I know a little bit about it. I know that for a few years, the SEC was challenging the whole XRP, the network. Um, most crypto exchanges, you couldn't trade or buy XRP. And as of recently, XRP won a case. I do think they did have to pay like a minor fine, but otherwise, I think there is some behind the works where, yeah, the United States, they want to explore XRP. They want to, I don't know if they want to use it as a stable coin or something, or they want to like, I don't know. I think they want to like actually explore it,
Can
see
we
what potential it has.
play this on the way out and just like get his comments on these two Vanguard articles really quickly?
Yeah, I just wanted to show this link. If people wanted to go to watch this, in this video, he also makes a claim about that Satoshi Nakamoto that you're talking about. We're speculating that was it Hal? What's the name?
Hal Finney.
Finney, right? So this guy is speculating that he's actually it's David Schwartz is the Satoshi Nakamoto guy. So I figured you would have some kind of commentary or you guys support or reject this guy's theory.
To be honest with you, I would have to look up who or what was his name? David who?
I think it was David Schwartz. I just have to maybe rewatch the video briefly. It's like an hour-long video, so it's not really good for us playing it on the way out or whatever. But
yeah, if you'd like to, Miguel, maybe you could send me the link on Discord or something, private message. I don't know much about that David person, so unfortunately, I can't make a comment on the matter.
Yeah, it is David Schwartz. So it's the owner of Ripple, basically, the CEO or whatever. So,
okay, that. Now I think now we're getting somewhere, but yeah, I'd have to do some more digging on Ripple itself. But thanks for letting me know.
No worries. Yeah, we could probably have you back on at some. I think it'd be great to work with you as far as collaborating on this topic, right?
Yeah, why not? When I have free time, and when my wife says yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so let me share my screen. Because there's so are you going to summarize? I'm just going to show the headlines and say the dates, and you can summarize for me. Does that sound fair? Or you need to read a little bit of it?
What's that? Are you talking to me or to
Golden Monarch?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one says, and I'm showing them by date.
We got to share your screen first. Oh, there it is.
I'm about to. Yep. So this one's January 24, 2024. So this is the first one. It says no Bitcoin ETFs at Vanguard. Here's why. So I don't know how you want to do this. Then I'm going to just go to this one and read the article, the headline, because it's later. It's May 15th, 2024.
Yeah, so there's one from January, then one from May. I think it was around this time where Vanguard, I think they changed CEO or something. I think they recently went through a leadership change.
Oh, they were like, you got to get the hell out of here. Okay, so the next one is, yes, Vanguard's new CEO supported BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF launch. That's the one in May.
Yeah.
So, you want to just give a quick summary about what you think about this? And because I know Michael wants to head out.
Yeah. Real briefly, because like I said, I haven't really done in-depth study on Vanguard itself.
Mm-hmm.
We've been more so like heavily concentrated on the matter of BlackRock, MicroStrategy, Coinbase, and whatnot. But yeah, Vanguard's in a really interesting place because it is one of those huge financial institutions that where people have they've dedicated their assets for retirement, IRAs, investments. But this new CEO, I would really like to dig into where does he come from? What is his what is his end goal with Vanguard? Does he want to turn Vanguard into similar format like BlackRock? I think Vanguard should challenge BlackRock's model of thinking. They should try to reject the whole forced push of Zionist propaganda, especially with Bitcoin and whatnot. But that is not to say that Vanguard doesn't have his own dirty hands. They have a lot of dirty hands too. They they're not good guys either. But let's see here. Okay, so in July 2023, there was an interview on Bloomberg TV. The new CEO, Ramji, was incredibly excited about blockchain technology, given its ability to remove considerable friction across the financial ecosystem. And he thinks that the Bitcoin ETF bid was an effort to help investors gain access to parts of the market that otherwise have been more difficult or really expensive or opaque for consumers to do otherwise. As far as that goes, that's really about it. I mean, they haven't launched anything. They might someday, but until then, I don't know. I keep your eyes on this Salim guy because I think he might end up doing the complete opposite of the former CEO, who wanted nothing to do with crypto or offered crypto assets to Vanguard consumers.
Okay, well, looks like we got some homework maybe to look forward to.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, sorry. I wish I could say more, but like I said, Vanguard hasn't been heavily involved in the whole cryptocurrency trope as BlackRock has, so that's why I haven't really looked into Vanguard as much. But if they do something drastic, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it.
There's always some scoop out there just waiting to be found.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate it. I thought it would be funny to go out on a video of Megan Kelly talking about it's a short clip whether crypto is a Ponzi scheme or legitimate. Let's see what the establishment has to say. So with that, any golden mark, any predictions since you are cryptodamus?
Like I said, there's no way in hell the crypto market, and by that matter, the Wall Street market, there's no way in hell that they can continue just pumping and pumping and pumping. I'm pretty sure post-election or sometime next year, I think those with insider trading knowledge, they're going to do something drastic. They're going to probably sell so much of their shares to leave the stock market and crypto market on yet another discount for the elites to buy back again, raise the value, rise and repeat. And meanwhile, while this happens, people are still, begging for some kind of universal healthcare system, ending endless wars. Because the truth of the matter is that nobody asked for this. Nobody asked for cryptocurrency. Nobody asked for Bitcoin. The elites are trying to get retailers' consent to make it a modern day thing. But we don't have to allow that. If we do enough research, if we actually dive down to exactly what is keeping Americans from doing their own homework, from rejecting the two-party system.
Organized chaos.
Organized chaos. I think what's the word for that? I think it's anarchy or something.
People have too much shit on their plates, and they like to keep it that way.
And then as
So
soon as
we don't have time.
we get flooded with cheap money. So it seems like as far as predictions, the era of ultra cheap money and then rocketing inflation seems to be right back where we started a few years ago or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, the pandemic hasn't really changed much. The pandemic, if anything, has revealed more and more their masks coming off. Has revealed more and more how greedy and sick these elites like Max Kaiser and Michael Saylor are. They're truly sick individuals. They don't represent us. They never will. They don't care about us. We have to look out for ourselves, you know.
They don't really care about us. So I want to thank Black Life, who's been back here adminning for us. Let me just bring her. There she is. Thank you, Black Life. I want to thank Milestone Thoughts for showing up here. Come back on Monday, 5 p.m. same time, 5 p.m. Central at Abby Do, Abby Don't. We'll be having a civilian discourse on that day. To all of our wrench havers and those who don't, thank you for your support. We appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. Michael, do you want to have the last word before we listen to the establishment tell us whether or not crypto is a Ponzi scheme?
Yeah, just shout out to Hardlands Media and Independent News Network. The great community over there, great content, great chats to hang out in. Support the Trailer Park Pundit. Shonda is battling cancer, and she would appreciate it if you had any money to spare for a donation. Sorry, I don't have the link in front of me here, but if you go to the Trailer Park Pundit YouTube channel, you'll be able to come across the link over there. So, yeah, thanks, guys.
See you soon.
Always good having you. Hopefully, see you next week, everybody. Thanks for being here. Have a good night.
Coinbase, Bitcoin. I know more and more these are being used to try to get people's money and scams. What do you make of them?
It's interesting. Bitcoin, there's actually a couple of precursors to Bitcoin, and those precursors are eGold and Liberty Reserve. And those are exactly what cryptocurrency is now, just minus blockchain, that distributed ledger. All right. Those were invented so that criminals could transfer money to each other, criminal enterprises. Bitcoin, its main use case, its initial use case was exactly the same thing. Ross Ulbricht, the guy who started Silk Road One, he builds a criminal website, basically a drug marketplace, and the only form of payment he accepts is Bitcoin. So that really gives crypto its first use case. Today, I have to say, and I'm going to upset a lot of people saying it, but that use case hasn't really changed much. You're still laundering money. You've got things like Monero, which is an anonymous form of laundering money. You've still got those types of tokens that do that. My view of crypto is that, by and large, it is a Ponzi scheme that is on the verge of becoming legitimate. It just is it? I don't know. I mean, right now we've got a 16% adoption rate in the United States. So 16% of the U.S. population has some form of crypto. We're also seeing crypto winter right now, where people are starting to understand that while you may be an exchange, and we've seen several exchanges go bankrupt recently, while you may be an exchange that has a lot of crypto, you may not have a lot of U.S. dollars to back that. So you're seeing a lot of scams. You're seeing a lot of problems in the crypto industry. I really think that we need for it to be legitimized, for it to move past that being on the cusp of a Ponzi into legitimacy. I think we need proper regulation. But the problem with that is none of the idiots in Washington have any idea how to do proper regulation on the thing.
No,
So
God, no.
I don't know how it ends.
Gathering around the dinner table has been the catalyst for change since the beginning of time. Ronald Reagan once said, all great change in America starts at the dinner table. If we can return to eating meals together as a family, then we can create the conversation and change we want to see. Maybe it feels overwhelming to get everyone together and still have the time to make a great meal. But Good Ranchers makes it easy. You pull out a Good Ranchers package of beef, chicken, or seafood. You season it with a little salt and pepper, cook it however you like. Boom, off to the races. Or buy the pre-marinated so you don't even have to season it.
Now,
Every
I
box
did
you get
not
is
know she was
superior
doing
quality
that.
flavor
No,
and
she's selling something.
Megan Kelly. So your products. Jimmy, door girl.